VW Amarok V6 diesel engine with an automatic gearbox. I'm going to take the auto gearbox out because there's an oil leak between the engine and gearbox, rear crank seal, hopefully. I've never had one of these out before, so let's do this together. Okay, let's have a little walk through what I'm going to do here. Now, this appears to have a lot of space, which is unusual for a modern vehicle, which is nice. Plenty of room around the exhaust, no need to take that off. So I guess rear prop shaft off, front prop shaft slides out. Oh, maybe it's disconnected from the front somewhere. Let's see. This subframe is going to have to come out, not a problem. Let me back you off a bit. Boom. Now it's kind of a self-contained unit, if that makes sense. All the fluid will stay in it, so I won't need to drain the fluid. The only thing is the torque converter. I've got to unbolt the torque converter from the flywheel on the engine so it stays with the gearbox, then it contains all the fluid. If it stays with the flywheel, it disconnects from the gearbox and just pukes oil everywhere. So I do not want that. As far, I haven't looked it up, I'll look it up, but as far as I can see, there's a little window up here, a little plastic case. I think when I pull that out, like so, there will be access to the bolts to disconnect it, which will be nice. But I think I need to get some of this clutter out the way first, like this cross member, leave the steering rack hanging, just get as much out of the way as possible. The exhaust looks a little tight up there to the gearbox, but we'll see. But all the bolts look nice and accessible from the top. But yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, I've just spotted there's a wiring plug there. Obviously that'll have to come off. Control cable at the top comes down to the side. I'll take that off. Not that much. Forgot to leave the car in neutral. Drop it down, put it into neutral, just so I can turn the prop shaft, etc., and the flywheel to get the flywheel bolts out from the torque converter. Here we can see the window on the side of the bell housing to get at the torque converter bolts. I'm turning the front of the crankshaft with a long ratchet and socket. Let's try again. Okay, that was a bit fiddly. They're the bolts, like a multi-hex head, quite old school, 16mm socket. Bit fiddly with one person because you've got to hold the crank to stop it turning while you get your ratchet in the little window to loosen the bolt. But luckily they're not Loctited in, they're just torqued. So once you've got it loosened, you can get them out by hand, which makes life a whole lot easier. Do not Loctite these in or you'll be on, the next person will be on forever trying to get them out. And there's 6 of them, so 6 bolts hold the torque converter to the flywheel. So that's now the drive disconnected from the engine to the gearbox at the input side. And I've got the prop shaft off, so it's disconnected at the output side. Now it looks like the front axle prop shaft just slides out. There's no bolts or anything. As I said, I've never done one of these before. So I'm hoping once the subframe's out, all the gearbox bolts are loosened. You slide the gearbox back and the shaft just pulls out. We'll find out. All I've got left to do up this side of the engine is take the control cable off, but I'll have to drop the gearbox down a bit for that. So I think next step is support the back of the gearbox, take this cross member off, drop it down a bit, get that cable off, all the bell housing bolts off, and in theory, it should come out. Okay, that's the cross member out. Two 13mm heads, 16, 16, 16, 16. Now those bolts in time are going to get a bit snappy. There's a lot of rust in there. And in fact, one of them was already snapped, but the bolt was still in there, held by rust. I don't think anybody's ever had this out. Weird. So I'll have to address that. I think it's just corroded through. Bizarre. Water must sit in there. And as you saw, annoyingly, these two were clipped onto the subframe. That'll pop them out. Next is the gear selector cable I was on about. Up there. Now there's a heat shield, I think. I can just get that bolt out of there, and there's one further along, and just gently bend that heat shield out of the way. You probably can't see, but at the end of the cable is a 10mm holding it to the actual lever, and then two 10mm securing the outer cable. Get those three off, and it's good. Now the access over the top, I've got a light in there, is really good. So I can get straight at the top bolts over the top. This side ones look a bit more awkward, but I think the majority I can get at under here. Now there's a crankshaft position sensor there. I've disconnected it, but I'll take it out just in case. Don't think Volkswagen do it, but Nissan do it, so it's kind of, it basically snaps when you pull the gearbox out, so I'll not take that risk. Now I've got this gearbox stand here, which is really cool, because you can change the angle of it. So I've set it at the angle, and I've nipped it up tight, so the gearbox can't escape at the back, and I'll probably put a ratchet strap over it just to be safe. And then when I'm ready, I'll put another normal one here to support that end. I think, I'm praying it's going to come out past all them pipes and stuff for the emissions, power steering, what have you. But no, an hour progress, I'm quite happy with that. Time for a cup of tea.
Right, it was going so well.
Got a bit fiddly now. I've got the gear control cable out. Basically, there's 3 bolts hold the bracket on the side of the gearbox, and then I stupidly took the adjuster bolt. It actually has like a socket one on there that just pings off. Real awkward to get at. I think what I'll do when I put the gearbox back in, I'll try attaching it first before I put the gearbox in, so it's a bit lower. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if you can see, but right down there, there's like, yeah, you can't see it, there's a 13-headed bolt on the bracket that holds the exhaust, which is super annoying because it's right in the way. On the tunnel, you can't get to it. There's that one, and there was another one up the front here by the exhaust and amongst those pipes. And all these pipes are bolted to the blooming gearbox. And it's all to do with, that's an exhaust steady bracket. These pipes are all for the AdBlue, which I hate. It's a pointless exercise, but we're not going to that. And these two aluminium pipes here are actually the gearbox cooler. I've took the bolt out and I'm just going to pop the pipes off. They're held together in a bracket and I'll just cable tie them out the way. Incidentally, when I was getting gearbox bolts out up here, this power steering pipe was really annoying, so I just cable tied it out the way here. I've got that bolt out, I've got that bolt out, and then there's one over here. There's more up there which I'm not sure about, because there's this little pipe in the way here. And again, it's bolted to the gearbox. It's so annoying. Instead of bolting all these pipes to the body, they've bolted them all to the gearbox, just making a simple job very difficult. I don't know why I'm surprised. Ugh. Right, moving on to the other side, where the front prop shaft is. There's a pipe up there. I haven't quite figured out what it does, but it goes right under the gearbox and then disappears up the other side. But it's got a bracket holding it to the gearbox. And the front axle's in the way of it. So I don't know how I'm going to get that out. Oh, job that could be so easy. Right, I've now got all the pipes and heat shields. I did take that heat shield off that side completely. There was just 3 screws and a clip. That pipe bolt to the gearbox was particularly difficult. Had to get the multi-spline, the Torx bit with a pair of grips on it. Just managed to get it in, crack it off, got it loose. Out the way, that pipe is quite loose, so hopefully that won't be a problem. I've got all the Bellhausen bolts out. Not too much of a drama, but there was a lot of them. There are 16 mil head around the bottom, then they magically changed to 18 halfway around, which is a bit annoying. I've got my second transmission jack in. First one, I've got this ratchet strap to keep its position. Let's just see if we can get the thing out. There's so much weight and there's so much crap in the way of it. And I still don't know what the front prop shaft's going to do. I presume it'll just slide out. Actually, it looks like it's sliding out now, so happy days. But there's a lot of weight involved here, and unfortunately this cross member doesn't come out. It'd make life a lot easier if it did. Right, wish me luck. Whoops, right, and that's the oil cooler pipes off. That's what's dripping a bit on me. Which is moving. It's separated from the engine, but I'm moving it away. There's another bracket up there I haven't seen. Wouldn't surprise me. Why would you bolt the gearbox to it? No, can't see anything obstructing it. Let's put you on a bit of time lapse because it's going to take a while. Okay, it's out. That was a lot more of a mission than anticipated. Then again, these things always are. Modern vehicles, what a nightmare. The exhaust bracket plate thing kind of fits there somewhere. I don't know, like that. Anyway, something like that. But when I was trying to, like that. When I was trying to get it out, I'd taken that bolt out, and that bolt out, that bolt and that bolt. But I hadn't taken this one out from the top, so it still had a hold of the exhaust. Once I took that one out, that bracket kind of just fell to one side. These pipes for the cooler that go inside the box, I kind of tweaked them out of the way a bit. This one must be aircon. Why would you take it all the way under the engine gearbox and head back up there? It's just crazy. And I had a real job getting that past. I suspect you're meant to take out the bolt up there that holds the back of the front axle. It might drop down a bit. I think the bottom line is you're meant to take the body off. That's the way they go together. Prop shaft split in the middle, so that wasn't too much of a drama. Anything else? No, it just kind of edged down, took the pipes past, edged down, down, and it just cleared the exhaust, so that was quite good. Didn't have to take that off. Yeah, now I'm going to find what the oil leak is and then put it all back together. But no point in showing you how it goes back together. Do the same in reverse. So, in conclusion, it's back in. About 4.5 hours to get it out and about 3 and a bit to put it back in. Anyway, starting from the back. 2 prop shaft bolts. The carrier, one there, 13 heads. The actual prop shaft, 4 of them, 16 head. Moving forward, the electrical doodad, the wiring, there's just a little push tag there. You just push that around, it unscrews itself, pops out. Take the tag out, take the tag out. Front prop shaft, just take the clip off this end and it'll separate itself, went back together, no problem. And then it starts getting a bit painful. This little heat shield here, it's got 3 screws, one there, and one up the top. Take them out, get it out of the way. Then you've got your gear linkage, it's got 3 bolts on it. Get them out, and then the inner cable bit just pops off. See it down there. Easier with the gearbox lowered down. When I put it back together, I put the cable back on before I physically pushed the gearbox in. It just made life a bit easier. And down this side, it just gets real painful. It's hard to see, but there's a 13 head right at the top, up there somewhere. Can't even see myself. You undo that, and then there's 2 on the side of the gearbox. It's basically a brace for the exhaust. I can't even see it. You can do it by feel. There's a bolt around about there, there's a bolt around about there, and then there's a bolt on the top. Basically just free it off from the gearbox and leave it with the exhaust. And then there's just like really annoying ones, like right up in there, there's a bracket that's attached to the gearbox you've got to get out. Down the bottom somewhere there's another one. Can't even see it, but the most annoying one of all, there's an aircon pipe runs right under the engine. It goes right up the top. And there's a little bracket on the side of the gearbox. See it? I even changed it for a 10mm head because it was just so painful trying to get the thing back in. And you can see it there. I think that took the most amount of time out of everything. Once you got all that lot off, pull the little plastic window out the side of the gearbox. And then you can turn the engine and undo the bolts from the top cover to the flywheel. While you're in there, you get rid of these gearbox bolts all the way around the bell housing. You can get the top ones over the top once you've dropped the gearbox down. And then it's just wiggle it out, getting it past that aircon pipe was hard work, and getting it past the front diff was hard work. But it, as with all these things, it went back together a whole lot easier, because when you're taking it apart, you're exploring. No, I've done one before. So, as I said, hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. One other thing, leave it in neutral. But if, like me, you forget and you've unplugged the wiring underneath, you can't get neutral. So pull this little cover over. You see the yellow plastic thing? Very hard to see. You just push that and it'll let you move the gear stick. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Nice to see you again. It's been a while. Yeah. Let me know if these videos are of any use and you like them, and like and subscribe and all that rubbish. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.